The Little Firefly's First Flight. In a forest where stars peeked between the trees and soft moonlight danced upon the leaves, there was a tiny creature who had yet to see the world. Her name was Fia, and Fia was a little firefly. Tonight was Fia's very first night outside her cozy little leaf home. She had waited many days for this moment, the night she would stretch her wings and take her very first flight. But she was a little bit nervous. The world seemed so big from down here, and the forest was filled with sounds she didn't yet understand. Fia closed her eyes and took a deep breath in, just as her mother had shown her. "Remember, little Fia," her mother had said, "the forest can seem very big at first, but if you open your heart and listen closely, you will hear the kindness in it." Fia's tiny wings fluttered as she took in the sounds around her. The forest was alive, yet somehow gentle. She heard the whispers of the trees, the chirping of the crickets, and the faint rustle of leaves as the wind danced through them. Fia began to feel braver. With a deep breath, Fia tried to light up her little body, and oh, it worked. A tiny soft glow shone from her little body. Like a gentle star floating in the forest, she looked down at herself in awe, thrilled that she could finally light up. "Oh, wow," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. But then she hesitated. She knew that lighting up was only the first step. The next step was to fly. Fia took a deep breath in, but her wings wobbled nervously. "Can I really do this?" she whispered to herself. The trees seemed to whisper back to her in their own way, and Fia felt a soft rush of encouragement. She took one more deep breath, lifted her wings, and oh, she was off the ground, floating gently up into the night air. She wobbled a little, but before she knew it, Fia was flying. Higher and higher she went, her light glowing softly in the moonlight, as if a little star came down to dance among the trees. As Fia floated along, she began to see other little lights glowing in the distance. She wasn't alone. There were other fireflies all around, each one lighting up with its own gentle glow, creating tiny stars all throughout the trees. One firefly noticed her and floated over. "Hello there," she said. "You're new around here, aren't you?" Fia nodded shyly. "Yes, it's my first night." The firefly chuckled. "You're doing wonderfully. Look at that glow you have. Why don't you join us?" Fia felt her little heart swell with happiness as she joined the other fireflies. Together, they floated through the forest, lighting up the trees in a magical display. They danced together, their lights blinking on and off in a soft, gentle rhythm. The forest felt even friendlier now, and Fia was glad she had been brave enough to take her first flight. After a while, the fireflies came to a clearing in the forest. Fia never seen anything like it before. There, in the middle of the clearing, stood a small pond, perfectly still and shimmering in the moonlight, and she could see the stars and the moon reflecting off its surface, almost like another sky right there on the ground. Fia and her new friends floated down towards the water. As they hovered above the pond, Fia caught sight of her own reflection for the very first time. She gasped softly, "Is that me?" she whispered, looking at the glowing little firefly in the water below. The other fireflies giggled. "Yes, that's you. Look how bright you are." Fia looked at her own soft, glowing light with wonder. For the first time, she realized just how special her light was. And she felt proud of herself for being brave enough to show it. The night was beginning to quiet down as more and more forest creatures tucked themselves into sleep. Fia's mother was waiting nearby, and it was time for Fia to go back home. She said goodbye to her new friends and took one last look at the shimmering pond and the beautiful, peaceful forest. "Thank you for the adventure," Fia said softly to the trees, the stars, and the gentle breeze. As she floated back to her little leaf home, Fia felt a warm glow in her heart. She had discovered the beauty of the world around her, and now she knew the forest would always feel like home. Tonight, Fia had taken her first flight, made her first friends, and seen herself in a whole new light. She closed her eyes, her little glow still warm, and drifted into a gentle, peaceful sleep.